Hi, in this video, we are going to see how to reverse a singly linked list. So in case you have already done with the linked list, with the basics of linked list, then this is a question that comes up after you have done with the basics like find length of the linked list, traversing a linked list. And this is one of the questions that you will come across, okay? So let's just try and solve this particular problem. And it will be fine if you know that if you, okay, and it would be really great if you know this program really well, or you know how to reverse a singly linked list really well. It's going to help you in writing the big programs of singly linked list as well. And we are going to talk about iterative as well as recursive way, both the ways. First, let's go ahead and just try and solve the problem in iterative way. Okay, so when I say write a code to reverse a linked list, which means if your linked list is something like this, after the reversal it should look something like this. You should have 8, 9, 7 and 4 and null. Okay, this is how my reverse linked list will look. So one of the options, we have to swap the values, but we won't swap the values, we have to change the links. Okay, we have to reverse by changing the links. So let's just see how we can do it. Okay, so as you can see that if somehow I do this thing that the next of 7 is 4, the next of 9 is 7, and the next of 8 is 9, and the next of 4 is null. So what happens is that we just want that the prev of this particular, we just want that the previous node should act as the next node. So let's say what we do is that let's just concentrate on these two nodes, okay, and then we'll see if we could come up with something generalized. So let's say this is the first node. We want that 4 next should be null, okay, and we want that 7 next should be 4. Okay, so let's say I keep a pointer prev and I initialize it with null. Okay, now what we will do is we will put 4 next is equal to prev. Okay, now I have done 4 next is equal to prev. Now what we have to do is we have to do 7 next is equal to 4. So what I will do is I'll make prev equal to 4. But as you can see that as soon as I do this, that 4 next equal to prev, we will lose our access to this particular node. So even before we do this, we have to ensure that we keep the next stored. So we'll keep a variable next which will store 4 next. Okay, so we have next is equal to 4 next. So I have something pointing to next, pointing to 7. I'm not losing it. Okay, so what I did 4 next equal to prev. So this ensures that the next of 4 is null. Now I want that the next of 7 should be 4. So what I'll do is whatsoever I want the value to be next, I just keep it in prev. Okay, so I'll keep prev is equal to 4, and what I'll do is I'll do 7 next is equal to prev. But again, before I do 7 next is equal to prev, I have to ensure that I keep the next in this next. So I'll keep next is equal to 4 next. Okay, so now you know what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to somehow generalize. So here I see that I'll need 3 things. Number 1, I need a prev. Number 2, I need a next, and one more thing that I need is current. So basically current is the one whose next is getting changed. Current is the one whose next is getting changed. Prev is the one which is being current's next, and next is the actual next of current. Okay, let's just try and see that if using these 3 we can generalize the code or write the code or not. Okay, so what we did, we had the prev, we initialized prev to null. Okay, and then we had current. So let's say initially current was head, current was equal to head. Okay, this is my head, the head is pointing to the first node. Now I have current is equal to head, and let's say I initialize next also as. So now let's say I have to change the next of all the nodes. Okay, so we'll obviously have to run a loop, because first I'm doing that for 4, then for 7, then for 8, 9, then for 8. We'll see how long the loop will run. What we will do is we'll keep our next stored. Okay, then what we will do is we'll point the next of current to prev. Current next is equal to prev. Okay, so what I have done is, let's say this is my next, I have stored that in next. the current next is equal to prev. So after this particular operation right now for this particular node, the next of 4 will be null. After this, what do I want? I want that the next of 7 should be 4. So what I have to do is I have to update my prev to current, okay, and also I have to update my current as well. So initially current was 4, now I have to update it to 7 because I have to change next of 7. So I'll update my current to next. Okay, so I think these are the operations that we have to perform. I have right now just come to this using these two nodes. I'll just run this completely, and till when I am going to do this, I'm going to do this till I get my current is equal to null. So I'll just put a condition here. So this is a small place, let's say I put it here. So I'll just put that current not equal to null. So let's say while I'm traversing and I come to this particular place, which means I have already reversed the complete list. So let's see what happens after we perform these operations. Let's just dry run this particular thing. So let's get started. So initially my prev is null, current is head. So initially my prev is null, current is pointing here. Let me write CUR, okay, and next is also null initially. Now what happens is that I come here, I check will current is current null, which is not the case. So we'll get inside the loop, this becomes true, current is not null. Then we do next equal to current next. So next starts pointing to 7. What we do is current next equal to prev. So 4 next becomes null because prev was null. So 4 next becomes null. Okay. Now what we do is we put prev equal to current. So now my prev becomes 4. Okay. And then we do current equal to next. My current becomes 7. So my current starts pointing to this particular place. This is my current. This gets gone. Okay. Now again we go here, we check current is equal to null. That is not the case. This becomes true. We again do next equal to current next. So now this link gets broken. This is the next. This is my new next. I check that what I do is I do current next equal to prev. So now what is my prev? 4. So 7 next becomes 4. So next of 7 becomes 4. Okay, this is how my list looks right now. And then what happens is that we update our prev to current. So my prev becomes 7 and my current becomes next. So now current starts pointing to 9. This is my current. Okay, now I again run the loop. This becomes true. We do next equal to current next. So now next starts pointing to 8. And what we do is current next equal to prev. As soon as we do current next equal to prev, this particular link gets broken, and what happens is that current next equal to prev. Prev is 7, so we get a new link like this. Now next is pointing to 8. That is why it's really important that we keep track of the node as we keep on changing links, else we lose the track or sometimes we get runtime errors as well. Okay, so now this is my new list. I update my prev to current. So now my prev becomes 9. Okay, now what happens is that we do current equal to next. So now current starts pointing to 8. So now this is my latest current. Okay, again what I'll do is I'll do next equal to current next. So now next starts pointing to null. Okay, so now my next becomes null. We have current next equal to prev. So 8 next equal to 9. This is what happens. 8 next is equal to 9. Prev is equal to current. So now our prev becomes 8. Prev becomes 8, current equal to next. My current becomes null. And what happens is that we come back here, we check if current is null. Yes, current is null. So we come out of this loop. But as you can see that my head is still pointing to 4. My head is still pointing to 4. So what will happen is that head will always point to the first node of the list. So what I have to do is as soon as I come out of this loop, I have to add a line such that head points to the first node. And as we can see that we have kept our 8 still in prev. So prev is still pointing to 8. So what I'll do is I'll add one line that head is equal to prev. Okay. So now this will give me the complete code. Head will be pointing to this node. So this is how we reverse a linked list in a iterative way. So let's just write down the code, proper code. So we haven't taken any particular thing. We haven't, taken the node or the class or proper pointers, but we will do that when we write the code. So let's just go ahead and write the code. Okay, so we have seen till now how are we going to reverse the list. We have kind of come up with a code. Let's see, let's implement it and see that if the code is going to work fine or not. So we already have ll main. So this is a linked list main class. From here we'll be just trying to insert the list. So we have already created the list using these three functions 1 2 3. So we already have a video for these insert at beginning, end and insert. So make sure you have watched those videos before you watch this video. Okay, so we already have a list with us. As you can see, it's 1 2 3 and 4. That's the list. And what we will do is we'll just try and reverse the list. We'll first print the list before reversing, and then after reversing we'll print the list again. Okay, and this is the reverse function. So let's just go ahead with the reverse function, considering we already have a head. So here we have kept head, so we need not pass head or something because it's a class variable, so I can use it. Because it is a global variable, so I can use it. So let's just try and write the code. So we had node current equal to null, prev equal to null, and we had next, which was pointing to head initially. Okay, now we will do is we will run a loop till we get our current equal to null. In this, what we will do is we'll keep our next in this next variable. Okay, I did a mistake here. Current has to be head and next will be null. Okay, so we'll keep our next equal to current dot next. Okay, and then we'll change the next of current to prev. So current dot next equal to prev. Now we have to update our prev and current. So we'll make our prev as current and we will update our current as next. Okay, so this is the loop, and then what we will do is, as we have seen, we have to update head as well. So we'll make head is equal to prev. So this is a small code. Let's just run this code and see if it works fine. So yeah, as you can see, we initially had 1 2 4 3, and after reversal we have 3 4 2 1. So the code works pretty much fine. So make sure you try the code on your own and just try it on your laptop and see that if it's working fine or not. And make sure when you're writing code on your own, do not just copy it. Try and do it on your own.